Hey guys, Mr. Yisley here. So we are beginning Chapter 7, which is all about polynomial equations and factoring. So we're going to start off by talking a little bit about the vocabulary that you're going to see in these early lessons. And the first vocabulary you see there is monomial. And a monomial is a number, variable, or the product again meaning multiplication, because we've talked about that before, or the product of a number and one or more variables with whole number exponents. Now that sounds kind of complicated, but let me give you some examples. Some examples of a monomial would be something like 4x, or really that means 4 times x, right? Or another monomial might be x y squared, or x times y squared. Or a monomial, right, might even be just a single number, like the number 12. All of those are different examples of monomial. So a monomial is just a polynomial with only one term. So if you were going to write something down, I'd encourage you to write polynomial with only one term. Now, the second word we've got there, or phrase, vocabulary that we have, is degree of a monomial. Now, the degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables in the monomial. Now, sum, that's a key word we got to remember. Sum means adding up, right? I mean, we're adding a bunch of stuff up and we're getting a total. Well, what are we adding? Again, we are adding the exponents. So it says we are adding the exponents of the variables in the monomial. So if there's more than one variable, we're adding up those exponents. So for instance, an example of this, if we had 2x squared, right? Now, there's only one variable there, so this number right here, the exponent of that variable, would be considered the degree of the monomial. So it's whatever the variable of the exponent is. Now, we may have more than one exponent, so we might have something like x squared y to the third, all right? In order to figure out the degree of that one, we would add those exponents together to figure out the degree. So add to get degree. So how we determine the degree of a one-term polynomial or a monomial is we add the exponents of the variables. If there's only one variable, then we just look at its exponent. If there's more than one, we need to add those exponents together. All right, our next term that you're going to see is polynomial. All right, and a polynomial is either a monomial or a sum of monomials. All right, a better definition, I would say, is that it's more than one term being added or subtracted, all right? So different terms being added or subtracted. And what I mean by that is we're going to have a bunch of terms, but they're not like terms, so they can't be combined. So an example of this would be something like 2x minus 3. So you've seen that before, all right? Now, normally that's set equal to something, but 2x minus 3 is a form of a polynomial, all right? Another example might be something like x squared plus 3x plus 2. They're all different terms. There's 3 total terms there, all right? This would be an